Hail, Internet! It's Paul. It's Matt, the Dork Lords. We are here to talk about Star Trek Discovery, Season 1, Episode 7, Magic to Make the Sane Man Go Mad. Now that one actually works with this, too. Happy Halloween, by the way.
Magic to make the same man go Dork Lord.
To go dorky and lordy. So, yes. We'll start with a recap, like we typically do.
Sure.
All right. Recap. This is when, you know what? You don't have CBS All Access. You're like, what happened this week?
Or I get hit in the head. Just tell me that, so I
Yep.
can at least know what happened on, Star Trek Discovery.
Right. Exactly. Right. Good point. Yes. I have
I
no
hope
memory
you
of
feel
events.
better,
Right. Gradually, you'll get your memory back.
Start with this.
Let's start with this. Okay. So this one is a little easier to sum up than some other ones have been.
Yes, because a lot of stuff happens so many times, you might just say it once.
It's what we just discussed. Should be called time loop and kissing.
Yeah.
Because it's a time loop, and then there's kissing. All right, so basically, Harry Mudd returns.
Yes.
He has basically his intention is to steal Discovery.
Yes.
And he needs to know how the engine works.
Yes.
How does a spore drive work? So his plan is, hey, I've got this device that gives me half an hour in time loops. I'll keep trying to figure out how the engine works.
Yep.
Then 30 minutes later, everything explodes, and I'll come back, and we'll try again. And so it's gone over and over. And because Stamets has, done his tardigrade,
Yes.
I'm the
Tardigrade
spore drive.
upgrade. Yep.
He is somehow out of the time stream, so he has a memory of events even when they repeat.
Somehow.
He's the one guy. He's the Bill Murray that keeps waking up. And or maybe a better version would be Tom Cruise in Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh, yes. Definitely.
He just
there's
keeps,
plenty of people dying in
yes,
that one.
and then he keeps having to figure out how to defeat the enemy.
How?
How? So Stamets' way to defeat the enemy is to
Play matchmaker.
play matchmaker, basically. Get Michael and Ash kind of working with him on his side.
Yes.
And so, through a series of let's tell each other the truth moments,
Yes.
we learn that Michael has never been in love.
No, never.
She does kiss Ash.
She does. She kisses Ash.
Yeah, say that very carefully. That's
Not sycophantic, but she
right.
kiss ass.
Right, she's not a kiss ass. That might be Tilly.
She's a kiss Ash.
But yeah, okay. So, and in the end, they are able to defeat Mr. Mudd.
They are.
And they
make sure that he, sticks to the bounds of matrimony.
right
That'll show him.
send him off to his father-in-law and wife.
Yes.
Yeah, and all is well. So that's generally speaking, superficially, the episode.
Yes.
All right. So real quick, the title of the episode, "Magic to Make the Sane Man Go Mad." I did have to look it up. I'm like, oh, I know exactly what this
Sounds very
means.
familiar.
But it did sound familiar, so I looked it up. Yeah, it is from the Iliad.
Ah, there you go.
So it's another
Where
Greek
there was a lot of time loops.
phrase, right? Because they had Lethe last week. And another Greek phrase, I don't know, they're going the mythological route. And I will say this, the Iliad, you got Achilles and Agamemnon, it's the Trojan War, basically, is what it's about.
Right.
What's one of the things that people remember from the Trojan War?
Prophylactics.
Yes, and Trojan horse, right?
Oh, yes, there you go. It was a Trojan whale.
So they had a Trojan whale
there
in
you
this
go.
episode.
There you go.
Now, more to the point. I mean, I think that is actually a point. I would say
points.
boom. Point. But the other thing is that magic that is being described by Homer is in relation to love. He's just saying love is the magic that makes the sane man go mad.
That's what he's saying. He's not talking about horses.
He's not talking about horses. Although
Kind of talking about prophylactics, though.
Yes, he is.
You don't want to have kids. You don't want to go really crazy. So
Michael obviously has this thing of I've never fallen in love.
no, never.
So that is obviously relevant to the title.
Sure.
I suppose in some ways you've got Mudd and his wife. There's like a love thing there, maybe. I don't know. They don't really love
He
each other
certainly
so much, but
professed love.
he professes love. Yes.
How dare you take her away from me?
Yes.
That's why I'm blowing you up.
So anyway, so there's your title references.
There you go. Now you're good.
Boom. Yes, you're in. So, what did you think, sir?
I liked it. Even though I think because of the time loops and the urgent nature of all of it, that it actually didn't really have much, sort of like a standalone episode, really, because
right, it did not fit so much into a narrative, other than we know that Stamets had, he can work the spore drive. That would be like some prior knowledge you might have had to be like, oh, right, in order to make the spore drive work, they're going to have to get Stamets.
Well,
presumably
you're learning more about the effects of what it's having on him. So, previously we kind of seen him act kind of loopy, and he acts loopy here.
He's still loopy.
But it also, because of the interdimensionality of the spore drive, it gives him this ability to be able to, see what's going on in different timelines. Maybe in different dimensions.
Perhaps he has vents in his arms now.
Other universes. Darker ones, perhaps. Anyway, so because of that, and also Michael and Ash, their relationship is progressing. So, but, if you were to take this episode out, I think people wouldn't necessarily be like, what happened in that one episode where they, because not really actually much happened.
So you're kind of downgrading a little bit for that.
No, I'm just saying that because actually that happened, it didn't have other things that people would be irritated with. Like, I know people out there are like down on the Klingons. You didn't see a single Klingon.
No Klingons.
You didn't see a single
I'm one of those
Klingon
people, but no, yes, good.
And some people probably are, might be happy the fact that Tilly was not involved very much with it. So
yeah, her only role was in the role you would think Tilly would do, which is kind of the CW style. Ooh, there's a guy at the party. I'm drunk. Let me go hit on the band guys. You're like, okay, you go, Tilly. Go to your own show. Go to that show that you're in that no one else is in. Great, thank you, Tilly. All right, sorry.
Run Tilly down. This is your run Tilly down moment for this episode.
Exactly. This has been your rundown Tilly moment. All right, great.
So I thought it was so there you go. That's what I thought. I thought it was a good episode, but and they were inventive in how they illustrated, because certainly it's a time-honored Star Trek trope. We're stuck
a time
in
loop.
Time loop.
Honored. Yes.
Yes, that's theirs. They've now had their own. They're officially Star Trek.
Yep. Yeah, and as much as I was a little begrudging the time loop idea coming into it, as I started to watch the episode, and I knew from the trailer from last, that it was a time loop episode.
Yeah, they said time loop.
Right, time loop. We're in a loop of time. I was a little like, okay, this has been done. But you know what? They did it well.
Yeah.
I will say that. Like, most things have been done. You just do it well.
Yep, there you go.
And they did it well. I would say if I were to pick something, that didn't strike me as well, I feel like they're missing the energy of Mr. Mudd.
Missing the energy?
Like, so in the original series, yes, he was a villain, but he was a comical villain. Like, he was kind of an idiot.
He was funny in this?
I didn't think he was. I thought he was too dark to be funny, but then they tried to wrap it up in a funny way. Like, it felt like on paper, maybe it was like, this is funny. And then when you saw it, it seemed more like,
I don't know.
This guy's just killing everyone left and right.
He was certainly wisecracking here and there, everything he did.
He's a little more. I guess he's a little more of a omnipotent genius than maybe an omnipotent evil genius than he was in the original series. In the original series, it was kind of like he kind of just seemed to happen into things.
I don't know.
And he was a con man, but he wasn't an omnipotent evil genius.
I don't think he was evil genius-y. I mean, he had the ability to he had a device that allowed him to have a time loop. And doing stuff a bunch of times, you learn stuff. But he's not going through his whole life having the whole thing happen again and again to be really smart. Just moments where he's like, how do I get into this bank? Well, I'll do it a billion times and I'll get into the bank.
On a Betazoid, apparently. We had a Betazoid reference.
No, I didn't catch that.
That was it. It was a
Right,
Betazoid bank that he...
Yeah, maybe... thankfully he didn't get B'Elanna and Luxana their money, so they're all right.
It is interesting, like, it kind of reminds me a little bit of... we're going to go Harry Potter here for a second, but Hermione's got a time turner in Harry Potter, right?
Yes.
That allows her, and what does she use it for? She uses it to take another class.
Yes.
You know, and it's kind of like this thing. I have the most powerful device in the universe.
I think she was taking more than one.
Yeah, right.
I think she had a really big schedule.
She had a big schedule. But I'm like, what? Like, just, you know, maybe audit a class in the summer. I don't know. Anyway, so this thing is like, I need to find a big sale of some item to sell to the Klingons. I have this item that they would pay who knows what for, but I'm going to use it to do this other thing, which I'll then, I don't know, like, this item he's got.
See, he's able to fish with that, you know, so he's not going to give the other people the ability.
We're assuming there's only one, I guess. I don't know, like, that technology, once it exists, because they were like, Michael says,
yes,
it's a time crystal.
Yes.
I'm like, wait, what? Again,
well, and they say that
magic to make the same.
But he was able to find. She was saying she was to find somebody who was able to perfect the technology,
right?
So they could do it. So you know.
But if they perfected the technology, then it sounds like
the people who perfect, so they might be like, okay, now let's make a bunch more,
right?
Probably only for themselves.
That's the technology that I think anyone would want to end this war, right? Would be like, oh wait, whoa, you've got a time turner that we can just anyway, but So it's just interesting. And then it's suddenly...
I would think it's probably localized, though it's not like, you know, so you'd have to decide to do it in an area anyway. So I think him using it for himself is more than I'll sell it, because he'd have to get more than one, I guess. So he'd be like, he's not like some door-to-door salesman, like, yeah, you need a time thing? Well,
it's just like, if I had a time turner, I'm calling it a time turner.
Go ahead.
It's actually better than a time turner, because you don't have to hide from yourself. When you go back in time,
it's better. It's just you.
It's just you. So he's got super time turner. I think I would use it. I don't know. Like, it just seems like, you know what? Best way to do this is I'm going to spend in my own life, in my terms, a long time dying repeatedly, violently, so I can make a sale eventually.
Sure.
I'd be like, just go pick some awesome moment in my life, and that was really awesome. Let's relive that again and again. I don't know.
I mean, he's using it for scams, so that tells you what kind of guy he is.
Exactly.
But, I forgot what my point was.
Oh, sorry. I got off on a tangent.
We were talking about the episode, I guess, and you're saying that he's an evil genius.
I just felt like he was too evil genius-y. You don't think he is? Okay.
No, I don't think he is.
Because he had to know so many things in order to, you know, he has to know about all the science. He has to know where everything is in the ship.
Works.
He has to know, you know, he has to have a really good memory, obviously, too. He's got to be like, oh, well, the last time I did this, you tried to kill me. All right, so I'm going to kill you first. All right, and then, you're going to tell me this information. I don't know. There's a lot that he has to take in.
It's the Groundhog Day. That's what it is.
It is.
So we don't know how many times he had to do it to learn that stuff.
But if you were a dummy doing Groundhog Day, you wouldn't remember. You'd be like, I don't know what your name is. I don't know. Linda? You know, I don't know. Like he's
so that's
he's good at it.
Idiot or genius.
Idiot or genius. Those are your two options.
You're an idiot? You must be a genius.
I will say this. At the first part, I was thinking, well, why don't they just keep him off the ship? But it did occur to me, like, for instance, just don't beam the space whale onto the ship.
Right.
But it did occur to me that, if they didn't do that, eventually if he keeps doing time over and over again, he's going to find another way to get on the ship.
Sure.
So it didn't necessarily solve the problem.
And one thing that when we were discussing this yesterday, it occurred to me that there's the moment where the tardigrade gets onto the ship, but before that,
are you talking tardigrade or are you talking the space whale?
Space whale.
Okay, tardigrade is.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The Gormander.
The Gorgamel.
The Gargamel.
The Gargamel.
The Jormungandr, which is a mythological creature from.
There's a moment when the space whale gets on there. If you're thinking that you have to get back to that moment, obviously the loop starts before then. Apparently, it starts when the lights go out.
Okay, when that little power outage happens.
So that's before they get up to the bridge and decide to bring it on, and before he gets on and starts shooting people. So if it happened before then, your options are more limited. So if he's able to get on there at that time, which I think he is, he might have said, okay, what's the phase that I have to go through in order to jump through? I found that information out one of the times, and so I can get through the force field because I know exactly how to phase through it because I found out that information. And then I'm on the ship, and then I can do whatever I want.
Trying to imagine myself in Stamets' situation, in his place.
Yes.
I think, and then obviously Stamets' solution works. So good on you, Stamets.
Yep.
But I would think what I would probably do.
Yes.
Because I'm oh, let me teach Michael how to dance. like that wouldn't occur to me. That would be nope. No,
Even if you're high on mushrooms?
Maybe if I'm high on mushrooms. I would think, okay, let's make these loops as painful as possible for Mud until hopefully he'll just stop. Find new and better ways to kill him off every time he shows up. Obviously, he's going to remember the way you killed him. He's oh, that last time he shot me in the face. Okay, so you'd have to keep coming up with new ways. But basically, just keep bumping him off. If the earlier you bump him off too, the less information he's going to learn. The only information he's going to learn is how you killed him over and over again. And I would think eventually you'd be all right, we're done. I'm not going to keep coming into here and let you kill me over and over again just so I can sell a ship. I think, even the violence of dying, right? It's kind of the Doctor Strange with the time gem. He has a time gem, basically.
Yes.
He's doing the Dormammu. Yes. I've come to bargain.
Yes.
Dead, horrible. That's what made him heroic in that moment was he's taking all of these horrible deaths.
I'm sorry. So you're writing the episode that he doesn't have to interact with other people. He just has his...
I'm just saying, I was trying to think, I was literally thinking, how would I respond to that situation? I think that's how I do it, is personally. But, all right. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know how you plan to, you'd have to spend so much time planning these other ways to kill him.
Right.
I don't know.
Eventually,
you're oh, can we, it's how much time do you have to create these other ways to kill him? I don't know. So, his thing is I've found a flaw and I found more flaws and I keep, exploiting those until I get what I want.
So do we believe Mud's reasoning that he's really he seems like he's vengeful, but I'm not sure that he has a whole lot of reason to be vengeful. To the captain. I mean, yes, the captain left him in prison when he could have let him run out. But let's face it, it's only a few weeks later, as far as we know, maybe a month. I don't know. Right. And in the meantime, he's escaped. He, being Mud, has escaped the Klingon prison, gotten a ship, shoved it in a whale, gotten the whale in proximity to that ship so that he could get... I mean, he probably spent another week in that prison. So for him to be I have a lifelong... enmity because you left me for another few days in prison.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that it was especially... I think he used that in the excuse.
I agree. Because he also used the excuse of the love thing, where it's the love of my life that I'm running from.
That sounds like BS. It's something he does to amuse himself and...
The montage of him killing Orca over and over again was interesting.
Yeah. That was very fun.
But also, I guess I didn't see that the penalty he got justified the horrible crimes he just committed.
I agree.
I feel like it tried to end it with a little humorous beat when it's dude, this dude
I think it would have been better off if they... Because I went back and watched a scene from the episode that... in the original series where Mud was there and his wife.
Oh, cool.
So, I don't know if you remember that episode at all.
I remember that he had all these cyborg versions.
Right, he did, and he created a cyborg version of his wife, and she was a nag, and so he would here she is, it's just like it, it's so good, and he was turns she starts nagging at him, and he's like, go back or shut up or whatever, and so she goes roar, and if I remember, because I didn't watch anything more than that little clip. Yeah. That at the end of it, he can't shut her off.
He can't shut her off. I think that's true.
So,
yeah.
Oh, those old shows are funny.
Yeah.
So, sorry, old fans. Anyway, or
Yeah.
Fancy old stuff. We're old still. Anyway, sheesh. That it didn't seem that strong to me to have to
Like, in
as
other
a
words,
core.
you've just killed our crew over and over again. Obviously, in this time loop, he hasn't necessarily killed, but he killed everyone repeatedly for a lot of times. Tried to capture the ship, sell it to the Klingons, lose the war for the Federation, and your punishment is you have to live with your in-laws. Like, I think that guy should be going to lots of back to prison.
Yeah.
Find a jail cell for that guy.
So it's I agree, and a reason why I think I would come up with this poor solution is like, well, let's just have this episode end now.
You're right.
This is where he has to be. He has to be back with this, with his wife. Then how do we make that happen at the end of the show? Boom, he's back with his wife. So
okay, so let's talk then about what in some ways is the actual reason for this episode, which is to have Michael learn something about herself and admit some truths about herself, I think, and admit truths to Ash. I think that's kind of it's one of the things where doing comedy a lot of times we talk about a lot of comedic premises are just an excuse to tell the truth. Like, guys sitting around a bar drinking. Okay, it's just an excuse to I'm a little tipsy now. I'll just tell what I'm really thinking.
Right.
Guys fishing. We're just out there. Let's just talk. You find reasons to tell the truth. Right. So I feel like that's what kind of this was about. Like, okay, we have to tell the truth, and she says, "I'm good at telling the truth."
Right.
And so she has a secret. Like same. It's like, tell me a secret so that I can prove to you that I'm living this time loop. And her secret that she says to prove is, I've never been in love.
Right.
Which. Again, I feel like if she was at a carnival and she went to like a tarot card reader or something, and it was like, "Yeah, hi, my name's Michael. I used to live on Vulcan, but I was a human, and my parents died when I was really young. Anyway, I'd like to have my cards read." I think "you've never been in love" would be like something you might come up with. So it's not necessarily the best secret, I think, that she could have revealed. But
I agree.
But hey. It works in this context.
Certainly was in the I think it does. It's one of those things where I think it probably could have done more artfully, but that works. I mean, it works. I think it works fine because the whole movie is moving. The whole episode is moving pretty quickly.
And Stamets has this really genuine sad reaction to.
It's possible to frame it. I don't think they did explicitly do it, but frame it after the episode with. Sarek.
Yeah, Sarek.
Sarek. That she's trying to take her life in a different direction now. So this whole thing about, what did she say? Not being in the corner or trying to get out of her comfort zone or whatever it was, is a part of that. And of course, given what we discussed before about her choice and who to get involved with, what a coincidence that this man who just is the newest member of the cast, of the crew, who has suspicious background. You're going to fall in love with this guy.
Now, that said, I'm, obviously we're referring to the fact, too, that it is a good theory that we are also perhaps partial to, that Ash is in some way Vok.
Right.
The Klingon rebel leader.
Yes.
I would say, though, from watching this episode...
You're less inclined to think it?
No, I'm still inclined to think that they're connected.
Right.
But I feel like Ash is genuinely feeling emotions. And I would be surprised if next episode it's like Vok reveals himself. We do see Vok, I believe, in the trailer for next episode, by the way. But
it did look like it was him.
If we see him go, "Ha ha ha, I fooled you the whole time."
Yeah, no.
Like, that would be weird.
I definitely think, I think it would be less, I think it would be less powerful if it was like, I didn't really love you, and now I'm going to betray you.
Yeah.
I think it's more like, in order to do this, I had to take on characteristics that I could not distinguish from my own.
Yes.
And, as a result, I really did feel for you, but I'm still, and perhaps maybe I'm more conflicted about what I have to do, but maybe I'm going to do it anyway.
Right. I feel like instead of just it being a mask,
right,
that he's actually taken on this Ash Tyler guy in some way.
Yeah.
And so that part of him actually is feeling emotions.
Right.
Right. So that's the thing. It's not just a simple reveal.
Yeah.
Like that would be lame. It'd be actually really lame.
Right. I agree.
I feel like that part of him that is Ash genuinely has feelings for Michael. There's the thing of the somewhat contemporary, maybe music. Maybe it's not even contemporary music at this point.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
But they're listening to
even for us
250-year-old music to them.
Yes.
At that point.
Yeah, think about it.
Whatever.
I'm okay with it. I'm one thing we discussed, which it would be cool if they did, but I think it would take an effort that they're not inclined to do, and no other show would do, is somehow get people to make pop songs for them.
Or do or a cover of a song.
But in a way, if you look at the creation of that as in the same camp as we had somebody create not a Vulcan language, a Klingon language, because I don't know if they've written out a Vulcan language.
I'll guess yes, but I don't know for a fact.
I don't know. I feel like we don't hear people talking Vulcan that much.
Yeah.
Certainly, though, we hear people talking
English,
Klingon who aren't never on the show. And I mean, just normal humans who know Klingon. That, it wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world to have somebody make some cash and okay, here's 20, 30 songs that, exist in this time that you can play. But, whatever.
Yeah. Well, we also had we hear how Stamets met Dr. Culber, which was the doctor was singing or humming to like an opera that was annoying him.
Yes. They made mention of an opera from some place.
Yeah, the name went over me.
I tried to look over it, and
Yeah. That he told him it annoyed him, and that was a truth-telling moment. And
yes.
But yeah. So obviously the song is it samples "Staying Alive."
Yes.
Which is appropriate, I suppose, for
sure.
And I did think about it. I don't know, just. Staying Alive, that's the Bee Gees.
Yes, it is.
That's the disco era. They were wearing disco shirts.
Oh, that's true.
The episode before. I don't know.
True.
Maybe there's a disco theme.
Yeah, there might be. Well, it might be an era where they're like, oh yeah, we're into disco now.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Discovery obviously was what it's short.
Oh, yeah,
disco is short for Discovery. Oh, you didn't think? Okay, so that's what that is. But still, it does say disco.
But they might be thinking that though, like okay. They're into disco.
They're into disco.
And maybe it might be a trend currently in this time or whatever. I mean, one thing that
kind of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 thing with them
did, right?
Or Guardians of the Galaxy,
or at least like say back in the 70s, how everybody was into the 50s, sort of,
Gotcha.
So it's like maybe that's the cultural moment that people are reliving in the Discovery era. But anyway. Yeah, I forgot where I was going.
Oh, all right. No, that's cool. We should bring up the fact that in some ways the star of this episode is Stamets.
Yes.
Anthony Rapp, and he's been in the news for other reasons.
Yes.
And he basically acknowledged that he's been living with this secret basically all of his life. When he was 14, he was assaulted. I don't know the best way to put it, but. By Kevin Spacey.
Yep.
Kevin Spacey's 26. He was 14. Yep. They were at a party. They were both doing Broadway.
Yeah, I think I'd seen Rapp in a few shows before this, though I couldn't tell you which ones I'd seen him in. But because to the forefront, maybe people were showing he was in Rent, and so there was a couple of interesting performances I saw of him in Rent, and it's like, okay, yes, well, one thing it revealed that he's been in the theater since he was 14.
Yeah, and then Kevin Spacey had this reply, which was like pseudo-apology that really wasn't so much of an apology. It's kind of like, hey, I don't remember, but if I did, I'm sorry, and I was probably drunk, and by the way, I'm gay.
Yeah.
Which is it was a weird,
way to address it.
Not the best response there, but so it's kind of interesting that he, I don't know, maybe there's some symmetry in that he's playing a character in this episode that is the only, he keeps having to tell people over and over again about, hey, there are these problems, and no one believes him or no one's listening. I don't know. There's just a little bit of symmetry there, maybe. I don't know if he was banging the drum on this or not, or if it's just because of
I think it's probably
just
coincidental.
the with the Harvey Weinstein thing and
Yeah,
all that come out that he chose this moment to
yeah.
for the first time maybe talk about it.
Publicly, anyway.
Right.
Apparently, he's speaking to other people as well.
I think there'll be some more of these revelations. In fact, I just saw a story that said Andy Dick just got fired from a movie.
Oh, yeah, I guess he does have a
sexually
bad
harassing people.
reputation for that, too, I believe.
So there's it's kind
It's
of a
in the
cleaning
air.
house thing.
Yeah. Get that house clean.
Yes. So, anything else, sir? For next week, with the trailer showed Saru saying like, "Hey, my people have always been afraid."
Yes,
and I was
yes,
always
yes,
afraid
yes.
until this moment. Now,
Sorry.
He does
Yeah,
some
and
kind of a-
he does something, that apparently makes him less scared or something.
I'm gonna guess it's a fear of death, and so he's accepting in this moment for whatever reason that he's going to die.
Oh,
I think is what it is. He's bringing that in and going, fine. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying he's gonna die, but at least I think he believes he is in that moment.
Right.
And then we do see a Klingon that looks suspiciously like Vok.
Yes.
So, and I did notice there's also a shot, because I kind of paused it. I was like, there's a shot, you see they're on a beach.
Yes.
And at one point, Michael is shooting from a phaser lying down on the beach. And then there's another shot of it's fast, so, tough. But it's Ash on that beach. And someone who's back seems to have a uniform.
Yes.
Is like choking him or something.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, why? If maybe this is the episode where Ash is revealed to be Vok. If we see a Vok and we see somebody, it looks like members of the crew are attacking each other. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, just throwing that out
Seemed a little
there.
early.
It does seem early, but if
I mean,
unless
the only thing I
Vok
can
is a
think
flashback,
is somebody.
maybe the Vok is a flashback,
Yeah. I'm kind of think that.
or it could just be another Klingon.
I
It just
feel as
looked.
if-
It had the same.
I feel as if anybody who might discover it next week should be killed by the end of the episode. I mean, one thing we also saw in that thing is the captain again. And the admiral again.
I missed that.
Yeah, I had to watch it again, but the admiral's in it too.
Oh, then maybe it's not Vok then. Or maybe
Yeah.
it's just a random Klingon, because the Klingons have her, so
Right.
maybe they're somehow going to rescue her or something.
Yeah.
Or well, they didn't want to, but
Right.
someone's rescuing her.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. Anyway, come on back. We will be talking about Mr. Robot in a few days.
Apparently,
And then-
there's 2 more episodes.
right, 2 more episodes, and they're going to take a hiatus.
Yes.
So we're going to have a mid-season break. There's going to be something major. A cliffhanger is going to happen
Yes,
at the end of episode 9.
you would think.
Yeah. Like, oh, look, everything's great. We won the war, and we're all happy.
Ooh, I wonder how that's going to turn out.
We are not in a time loop. Awesome. Good.
Ooh.
Hey. Okay, so we are in a time loop, so we're going to repeat this entire thing over again. In 3, 2. Okay. So anyway, come on back, subscribe if you want to get notifications. Make a comment. We'll make comments back and all that. So thanks, Paul. We appreciate it. And we'll be back. Yeah.